Well, I'm of the opposite opinion. This sucks. Well, good evening, folks, and welcome back to the farm. It is a less than beautiful October evening here, as predicted. It should have been predicted because it's October. Winter has come in the back door. Fall was beautiful. It was nice and warm. We were really getting cozy. Fall's usually one of my least favorite months because it only lasts maybe a couple of days and then we get this stuff. But we actually had it for a few weeks and things were getting really nice. And I was thinking about buying some pumpkin spice tea. Anyways, no, scratch that plan. We're gonna go straight to hot chocolate. And I'm just gonna run over and take a look at our carrots now because, I mean, we got all this snow. We got a little bit more than I expected. This morning it was coming down, it was hitting the ground and melting as soon as it hit the ground. But it's actually piled up. We got about 1.5 inches that's accumulated. So I'll run over and check the garden. Like I said, the only thing that's left in there right now is carrots. Hasn't really deterred the chickens. They're still free ranging around. That's just grand. So not too worried, but I think tomorrow we'll see with the temperature. It looks like it's gonna stay on the cold side for the next 2 weeks here. So I'm gonna dig out our no freeze chicken water and get that set up either tonight or tomorrow, because I'm sure that the automatic water bucket that we have is gonna be frozen solid for the next few weeks. You got a snowball? Look at that.
Whoa.
What is that?
It's a no.
The snowball?
No.
That stuff's cold, isn't it? Sorry, lied to you. Right there, there's some dill and some turnips still in the ground. And right here, this is where all the carrots are. But I think we're in good shape. If it doesn't get much colder than this, those carrots will be able to withstand that. But little miss and her little finger, it's cold, isn't it? Yeah, we better run inside and fetch up some of that hot chocolate I was talking about. So speaking of no freeze chicken waters, we also got the no fill sheep water, which I do have a floating immersion heater in there just to keep that thing defrosted. And it's absolutely beautiful because this time of year when it's snowing, all that moisture's coming down off the roof and filling that tub. And surprisingly, even in a drought year, I think I actually only filled that tub once this year. And the rest of the time, the limited amount of rainfall we had kept that thing full and topped up. And even in the wintertime with the black roof, black eaves trough, and black downspouts, keeps that trough full all winter long. Well, we've had ourselves a bit of a warm up. Got some more appropriate attire for the weather. Well, Charlotte did, I didn't. We're gonna take the side-by-side down to the field and see if we can't go catch us a donkey. So earlier this year, when pasture started running thin and we had very limited grass to feed the horses and the donkeys, we turned them loose into the bottom field there and just let them run with the cows. Well, the horses got real fat, real quick. So we've separated the horses already, but Elsie and Sven are still down with the cows. And you know, you think, well, there's got to be a better time than in the middle of a snowstorm to go and do something like this. But honestly, we're really limited on time and availability. So we're gonna go and try and catch Sven right now. And it's time for him to be weaned from his mama. All right, so I'm gonna tell you something right now and don't let anybody tell you any differently. Side by side with a half windshield in the wintertime sucks big time because you get all the false sense of security right here. And from there up, you just get all the ice right in your face. It's not a good time. So I'm looking out over the farm here at what can only be described as a near blizzard. And I don't see any donkeys. Of course, it couldn't be like right here where a guy could just go and call them in. No, she's probably way down the bottom, down by the lake. So I'm gonna have to come all the way back up north with that snow and ice just pelting me in the face. Exactly what I wanted. You know, it's funny how your level of gratitude and humility changes when your lot in life changes. Because just last year, we didn't have this side-by-side. We had a different side-by-side. It was a regular cab. It didn't have a roof. In fact, for like first 6 months, I actually had a tarp strung across here just to keep the rain off my head, and we had no windshield. And before we had that, we just had a quad, and well, before that, well, we just had a bicycle. So, you know, it just goes to show that as your lot in life improves, it's pretty easy to forget and not practice gratitude. Are you cold? No. You wish we could find Elsie? Yeah.
What's the sound?
Well, I have my orders.
What's the sound?
So we'll go see if we can find us a donkey. Hey, Bessie cow. See any donkeys around here? No? All right then. How about you ladies? You see any donkeys down here? Yesterday. All right then. As predicted, way down in the bottom by the lake. Let's see if we can't catch the little fella here and go for a walk up to the yard. Well, I got the little fella here. He looks pretty wet and cold. So is his mama. So is all the cows. We're gonna see if we can't ferry him up the hill. Put him in the sheep shelter where he can be warm and dry. Have himself a cozy evening. Isn't that right, fella? All right, so I got Sven all penned up in the lambing pen with the little shelter there. He's all nice and warm and cozy. And I just came back in from the chicken house, just fed the chickens. And I got thinking, it's getting pretty dark out pretty early, like 7:30. It's dark out at night here. And the sun doesn't come up until, well, at least 8 o'clock. So is it really time to start thinking about supplementary light in the chicken house? And when is the optimal time to do that? And how much light does a chicken really need? So the magic number there is 16 hours a day. 16 hours of light a day in order to get 1 egg a day out of your chickens. Well, we live in northern Alberta. We don't get 16 hours of daylight except for, you know, a very short period of time, right? You know, the June, kind of the beginning of June through to the end of June. And then after that, it's like, no, not happening anymore. So supplementary light is something that we definitely have to consider. But also we do want to make sure that the whole cyclical rhythm with molting and everything takes place. We want the chickens to be able to regenerate. And so how do we take that into consideration? So coming out of summer through fall, we don't add any supplementary light until, well, right about now. Just usually right around Thanksgiving, when you get down to about 12 hours of daylight, that's when, you know, they'll begin the molt. We'll be feeding high protein feed. And then once we hit that mid-October-ish, then we'll actually add the supplementary light. Now, how do we do that? So again, we want to shoot for that 16 hours a day, but we shoot for it in the beginning, like in the morning, so that when the light comes on, boom, the light comes on. And it's usually about 3 o'clock in the morning, or I'll trigger that depending, you know, earlier on in the winter, of course, I'm going to go for like 5 o'clock and then 4 o'clock and then 3 o'clock until we get into December, and then we start to work the other way. But in the evenings, I just let the natural sunset come in, and the chickens will go and they'll roost. And there's no supplementary light in the evenings. And the reason for that is because it's a timer, it doesn't auto dim, right? So that the chickens will naturally come back to the chicken house and go up into the roost as things get dark. But if it's really, really light in the chicken house, I mean, they're going to mill around. They're going to have, you know, board games or whatever the chickens do in the evening when it's fully daylight. And then all of a sudden, boom, the light goes out and they're going to be lost. They're going to be confused. And they're going to be on the floor of the chicken house, which is, I mean, that's stressful to the chicken to be in the dark laying on the floor. They want to be up high where it's nice and cozy and warm and they're safe from predators and all that kind of stuff. So actually full time throughout the year, I've got an actual light fixture in the chicken house with an on-off switch, so that if I go in there at 5 o'clock in the morning to do morning chores or whatever, and I can easily feed them, and then again in the evening later on in the year, I'm not getting home from work until it's dark out, so I can flick the switch on, go collect the eggs, whatever. But the light that's on a timer, so there's just an electrical outlet on the wall with a standard wall outlet timer, and then we use one of these, you know, 115 volt 2-prong plugs to a light socket adapter with a CFL bulb in there, and that's pretty much all we need to use. In fact, last year I actually had an LED bulb in this outlet, but I don't know where it went. I lost it. I probably used it for something else. It's probably in the lambing shelter, actually. That's probably exactly where it is. Probably in the lambing shelter. But yeah, got this one ready. So here in, well, after Thanksgiving, we'll get this rigged up in there, get that timer set, and get the girls lit up. But for me, it's probably time to start thinking about turning lights off. Yes, I better go fetch up a cup of tea and get my butt to bed because, well, tomorrow's going to be an early day. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.